First of all, you need to know about how Azure portal can perform the task. You need to know about the subscription because we don't have any physical server. We are going to purchase, we are going to create our resources over Azure portal, and we have to pay the amount as per the usage.
Okay.
Fine. So I hope you guys are able to see my screen, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Fine. So AVD, let me design one structure, and after that we'll proceed with prerequisite of AVD over Azure portal. So over Azure portal, if you really want to set up your AVD environment, what are the part that you need to know? Very basic. You need to start from the VNet. You can also consider as a Azure
Virtual network.
Virtual Network, right?
Network.
Then you need to establish one domain controller. It may be ADDS on server, right? Or it may be ADDS on PaaS, Azure AAD, which is PaaS service. Okay. Or you can also set up on-prem domain. Means Active Directory means domain controller mandatory. AD is mandatory if you want to set up your environment over a Azure portal. Once you complete this part, then Azure AD come into the picture. Currently, you can consider as a Microsoft
Intra ID.
Intra ID. And then the final step, you need to set up AVD host pool. Fine. So this is the structure. This is the structure that you need to follow.
Okay.
All right. So our responsibility, we need to know each and everything related to the virtual network, means Azure networking. After that, once we complete the part of networking, our responsibility, we need to understand about the concept of ADDS, means that we are going to install on any server operating system. We'll also configure our Azure AAD. Then we'll also discuss about the concept of on-premises domain controller. Then Microsoft Intra ID contain lots of features: user management, group management, licensing, custom domain, about the P2 license, like ADP2 license, security, compliance policy, conditional access policy. These types of activity, these types of security feature basically contained by the Microsoft Intra Admin. Once we okay with the Microsoft Intra Admin, we'll move ourselves to the AVD, and AVD self-contain lots of feature. Azure Virtual Desktop contain two different types of pool. You know about the personal pool and shared pool, or you can say that personal pool and pooled pool. The pooled pool also contain two different types of load balancing method: breadth first and depth first. So these all the activity we are going to cover in case of AVD environment. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fine. Now, let's talk about how AVD can perform the task. Like once we establish the Azure Virtual Desktop, you know that we are able to create multiple virtual machines. We are able to set up virtual machines. And by using the single virtual machine, if you establish your VM by selecting the feature of multiple session, then multiple users can access your same virtual machine at the same time. Multiple users can access the virtual machine at the same time. This is the actual work of AVD. And lots of services are involved, like as a FS Logics, like as a golden image. We'll also discuss about how to configure auto scaling, how to take the backup of our infrastructure, configure and manage our like size of our virtual machine, modify the capacity of virtual machine. So these all part we are going to cover in like as a, in entire AVD course. So let me start from the very basic, like as a Azure networking. So may I know what you think about the networking? Forget about the Azure networking. I'm talking about the basic of networking. What are the points that you know?
We create subnet, gateway subnet, and VM virtual subnet, VM subnet for our AVD virtual machine, and gateway subnet for
Great. About basic of networking, right? So Azure की जो services है वो separate है. Let's talk about the basic of networking, right? In the basic of networking, what are the points that we need to know? Like very basic thing. What is IP address, right? And you need to know about the class, range, default subnet of IP address. Number third, about public and private IP address. The gap between public and private IP address, CIDR calculation, and you also need to know about block size calculation. So these all are the points that we need to know in case of basic of networking. I hope you guys are okay with these 5 different points. Please let me know.
Yes.
yeah,
Right? Subnetting, how to calculate the usable IP address, how to means calculate the like as a block size. So these all are the points. We good with these points.
yeah,
Great. Fine. So this is the agenda. This is the prerequisite and second important part related to the networking. We also need to know about what are the points that we are going to cover over a Azure portal. So over Azure portal, the basic thing you need to know identification of Azure portal. So in case of identification of Azure portal, what are the points that we need to keep in our mind? The first important part is Azure subscription. Number second, Azure resource group. And we also need to know about Azure region and zones, about disaster recovery, DR, auto scaling, and backup. So these all are the basic things. Azure portal पे कोई भी सर्विस आप स्टार्ट करने वाले हो, like you know that over Azure portal we are able to perform lots of tasks. You can manage and design your own application and website. You can set up your own server. You can establish your own database. You can manage your like as any kind of security you want to set up. You can perform the all task over Azure portal. But for the all task, it's mandatory for us. We must need to know about, right? We must need to know about these points like subscription. You should know about the different types of subscriptions that we have. We should know about the work of resource group. Our responsibility, we need to know about the gap between region and zone and about the disaster recovery, auto scaling and backup. These all are the common things. नो मैटर आप कौन से सर्टिफिकेशन के लिए जा रहे हो, नो मैटर आप किस पर्टिकुलर टास्क को आप इम्प्लीमेंट करना चाहते हो, बट दीज ऑल आर कंसिडर्ड एज ए कॉमन सर्विसेज. Is that fine?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next, let's talk about the subscription. So what do you think? How many types of subscriptions are available?
Three
Which one?
subscriptions.
Yeah, which one?
Mm,
Name of subscription, please.
No idea.
Not able to.
Okay. Over Azure subscription, we are able to find free trial,
Paid trial.
then pay as you go, and the last one is MSDN, right? Total three different types of subscriptions we are able to find over a Azure portal. Our responsibility, we should know about the gap between these subscriptions type. Free trial, as per the name suggests, it will give us a $200 and it is applicable for 30 days. Means you can use this amount for next 30 days. Next, pay as you go, as per the name suggests, pay as per usage. And the last one is MSDN. MSDN is basically categorized in two different parts. One is related to MCT for MCT, Microsoft Certified Trainer, and another for organization. Try to understand about the work of MSDN subscription because most of organization, up to 90% organization need to set up their resources by using the MSDN because this is the complement given by the Azure, given by the Microsoft. If you prove that you are running your Microsoft product and you are going to implement your services with the help of Azure portal, then Azure will give you, then Microsoft will give you between $5,000 to $50,000, and this amount is will be applicable for entire year.
Okay.
5K to $50K applicable for 1 year. This is the complement amount. If you are MCT, Microsoft Certified Trainer, then Azure will give you $100 per month as per the validity of your certificate. Mostly MCT is valid for 1 year, means they are going to give us $1,200, means $100 every month for the practice purpose. Is that clear now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is about the subscriptions type. And now let's talk about the another important part, resource group. So resource group in the sense like as in our on premises, you know very well about in on premises, we are able to establish our organizational unit, right? Remember, we are able to set up the OU in our domain controller. An OU is responsible to contain what? OU is responsible to contain
Profile
multiple
and all.
group
Purpose.
users, right? And
Yeah.
computers. It's a type of container responsible to contain all types of object, right? It is
Right.
it is responsible to contain all types of object. Fine. So as it is over a Azure portal, whenever we set up our Azure account, like for example, this is my root account. You can consider as a admin account.
Okay.
And over a admin account, you know that you have a full rights. You can perform lots of tasks. By using single Azure portal, we are able to provide services to different what we can say different clients. Like you are going to provide services to HCL, IBM, and Dell. You are going to provide services to these client. HCL requested, can you please provide me some virtual machine, right? HCL requested for virtual machine. IBM requested for database, SQL database, and Dell requested, I want 100 TB of storage. जितने client, हर एक client की different requirement. You are outsourcing company, right? You are providing services to multiple clients. इन सभी client को आप services provide कर रहे हो. So in this case, which is really difficult for the admin to monitor the services of all the client. अगर हमारे पास ये कंटेनर नहीं है, अगर हमारे पास ये सर्विस नहीं है, so which is really difficult to segregate the services. हमें कैसे क्लियर होगा कि HCL को हमने वर्चुअल मशीन असाइन कर रखी है, या IBM को हमने SQL डेटाबेस सर्वर प्रोवाइड कर रखा है, या डेल को हमने 100 TB का स्टोरेज शेयर कर रखा है, which is really difficult. सो डे वन जब आप किसी भी क्लाइंट के लिए सर्विस इंप्लीमेंट करते हो, डे वन आर रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी टू क्रिएट कंटेनर. इसको हम क्या बोलेंगे? कंटेनर. यू हैव टू क्रिएट 3 डिफरेंट कंटेनर, यानी 3 RG रिसोर्स ग्रुप आप तैयार करेंगे अकॉर्डिंग टू द क्लाइंट्स, एंड विच इज हेल्प यू इन वेरियस वे, लाइक एज टू मॉनिटर द ऑल सर्विसेज. HCL को कितने रिसोर्सेज हमने प्रोवाइड किए हैं, उनकी इंफॉर्मेशन. You can segregate the billing activity. HCL का बिल कितना आया, IBM का कितना बिल आया, डेल का कितना बिल आया. आप इनके ऊपर पॉलिसी लगा सकते हैं, परमिशंस लगा सकते हैं, डेलीगेट कर सकते हैं इंडिविजुअल क्लाइंट के ऊपर. सो if you really want to segregate and monitor and manage the services of our clients, then we always proceed with the resource group. Is that fine? Please confirm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Clear? So it's mandatory for us. मीन्स इफ वी आर गोइंग टू सेटअप आवर ऑन AVD, तो आप कहाँ से स्टार्ट करेंगे? पहले हम एक रिसोर्स ग्रुप तैयार करेंगे, उस रिसोर्स ग्रुप के अंदर फिर हम सर्विसेज को इंप्लीमेंट करेंगे. नेक्स्ट, अनदर इंपॉर्टेंट पार्ट, region and zone, which one of really important for us. Region and zone, not only the cloud, not only the Azure, all cloud provider, जितने भी cloud providers हैं market में, they established their database in the entire world. Consider as a globe. They established their data center in different geographical location like this. These all are the data centers, and these data centers are categorized as a, the first one is region and the another one is zone. The gap between region and zone, basically the zone is collection of, sorry, the region is collection of multiple zone, and zone basically considered as a data center or physical data center of Azure. All the services are connected to each other. All the data centers are connected to each other. It means that we are authorized to send our resource from one geographical location to another. For example, you establish your virtual machine in Central India. You want to transfer or create another copy of your virtual machine in Central US. Yes, we can do that. We can create replica between 2 different geographical location to protect our infrastructure. कि कल की डेट में कोई नेचुरल क्लाइमेट्स अगर होता है या कोई नेचुरल डिजास्टर होता है, तो उस केस में हम अपने वर्चुअल मशीन को दूसरे लोकेशन से एक्सेस कर सकते हैं. इज ऑल राइट?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next, let's proceed. Now, why it is important? It is responsible to manage DR, अगर आप disaster recovery configure करना चाहते हो, it will help you to create replication. It will help you to set up backup, right? And if you want to create a multiple copy to set up load balancer. So these types of activity basically supported by if you are going to establish your services in different geographical location. Is all right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Next, another important part about DR, auto scaling and backup. So these all are the activity we are going to cover in our Azure portal. Is that fine? Any doubt, any question about the points that we discussed so far?
No.
No.
Great. Let's talk about the main content that we need to use for the implementation process to implement our Azure Virtual Desktop services. The first and really important part, configure and manage Azure networking, or you can say that Azure network. What are the points that we are going to cover in case of Azure networking? We'll start from the very basic, like as about VNet, which is Azure Virtual Network. Number second, subnets, about NSG, Network Security Group, virtual gateway, virtual network gateway that help us to manage VPN. We'll also discuss about VNet pairing. We'll talk about the concept of virtual firewall, and we'll also discuss about endpoint. Our responsibility we need to know about Azure Bastion
That's fine.
service. These all are the topics that we are going to cover in case of networking, right? And if you have idea about these points, then definitely you can manage your entire network over Azure portal. No matter you are going to set up your network for AVD, you are going to set up your network for like as a normal networking, like normal resources that you purchased. These points are applicable for all types of activity that you want to perform over Azure portal. Fine.
Yeah.
Fine. So let's proceed for the next topic. Next topic in the sense implementation. Back to the Azure portal and let's try to set up our own VNet. Okay, right now we are on page of our Azure portal, and as we discussed before, like you must need to know about the different types of subscriptions that we have, and those subscriptions are responsible to manage our Azure services, correct? So over Azure portal, we can implement, we must need to identify the subscription part. So for this particular task, you just need to click on General tab. Under the General tab, you will find the option of subscription like this. Click on the subscription. It will give you the complete information about the subscriptions that we have. In my account, three different subscriptions are available. Pay as you go, which is disabled. Two MSDN subscription, like as 151% source utilized and 29% utilized. As you're giving me $100 every month, approximately 8,200 rupees every month. So 7,900 rupees remaining in account one, 5,900 rupees remaining in our account two. So it's also based on the MCT certification validity, or you can say that age of your MCT certificate. So this is my fourth year of MCT. तो जितने भी साल आप कंप्लीट करते जाओगे ना, आप उतने ज्यादा अकाउंट परचेज कर सकते हो। मीन्स अगर हम 3 साल कंप्लीट कर रखे हैं एमसीटी में, तो आप 3 अकाउंट एट अ सेम टाइम कैरी कर सकते हो। मीन्स 100 $300 पर मंथ फॉर द प्रैक्टिस पर्पज,
Okay.
राइट। एंड इन द प्रोडक्शन इन्वायरमेंट जब आप कंपनी के लिए सेटअप करते हो ना, तो ज्यादातर कंपनी के पास अप टू 80% कंपनी के पास एमएसडीएन सब्सक्रिप्शन रहता है। And our responsibility, we should know about the procedure, how to migrate the services from MSDN subscription to pay as you go, क्योंकि एक टाइम ऐसा आता है जिसमें हमें अपने सब्सक्रिप्शन को क्या करना पड़ेगा। We need to migrate the services from subscription 1 to subscription 2.
Okay.
Okay.
Fine. So very first step, I have already created multiple subscription, multiple resource group, because this account I'm using from past 2.5 years. So I have already created multiple resource groups. So let me proceed from the networking. This is the panel of networking. We just need to click here and you are able to find n number of features or n number of services that contained by the networking. Network foundation, hybrid connectivity, network security, and load balancer, content delivery, which is CDN, monitoring, and additional networking devices like as a uh, next gen. So we can start from the network foundation in the sense like as a minimum requirement to set up your network environment. Bastion, custom IP address prefix, DNS management. Yes, we also discuss about the DNS. Network interface like a NIC card, gateway, private DNS zone, private link, route table, and public IP address prefixes. And this is the virtual network are also considered as a VNet. So not all, but at least as a Azure Virtual Desktop engineer, we must need to know about the virtual network DNS and about gateway, about NIC card, about Bastion, right? And about the public IP address prefixes. So these all are the points that we need to keep in our mind. Let me start from the virtual network. So basically the virtual network is categorized in two different parts. One is default network and another is create your own network. Default network in the sense the Azure will assign you, Azure will provide you one default network. And create your own network means like create your own network in the sense like you are going to set up your own network. You can decide your class of IP address, you can decide the range of IP address, you can decide the number of subnets that you want to implement in your network. So I don't want to use the default network. I'm going to create my own network. Click create. This is my subscription AVD class, this resource group, and you can use your own resource group. Just need to click here. यहाँ पे एक नया resource group अगर आप तैयार करना चाहते हैं, you can do that. If you want to proceed with the existing resource group, so आप same resource group के साथ जा सकते हैं. Virtual network name, like I'm going to provide the name of VNet, AVD VNet, right? AVD VNet. Location of your Azure Virtual Desktop VNet, Central US. I don't want to make any changes. Next, this is the panel where we can enhance the security part. So I don't want to allow any kind of security right now because the bastion part and encryption of networking we'll talk later. IP address. So this is the default range of IP address 10.0.0.0. So I don't want to go with the default one. I wanted to set up my own network 192.168.1.0 slash 25. So how many IP address will get in case of slash 25? Any idea?
126.
Slash 25. Total number of IP address 128. One IP address is applicable for the broadcast and another for the mask, subnet mask. So this is the complete range. You must need to add the subnet because without subnet we cannot perform any task. Mandatory to create subnet. So let me proceed with my on subnet name AVD subnet. Range of IP address. Do you want to proceed with the entire IP address that you have, or you want to save some IP address? So it's up to you. I don't want to proceed with all IP address. I wanted to consume only 64 IP address. And the rest 64 IP address will use for the VPN. Click
Okay.
add. One more subnet. If you want to add one more subnet, we just need to click on add. And this subnet will use for the VPN subnet. 64 IP address applicable for the VPN subnet. Click add. One VNet, two different subnet. We added one VNet and two different subnets. Next, next, and click create. This is the first part. Our VNet is ready to use. So what you need to do, we just need to open our virtual network. And you know that in the virtual network, we added two different subnets. Two subnet available, like as one is AVD subnet and another is VPN subnet. Both subnet contain 59 IP address because Azure will reserve 4 IP address from each subnet. जितने भी सबनेट्स आप बनाओगे उसमें से 4 IP एड्रेस Azure रिजर्व कर देगा. Clear? So
Or
this
you
is the
told
first step. Yeah.
why it is reserved for IP.
Okay. So actually they are going to set up for the security and provide high speed of internet transaction or data transaction. जो इनके डॉक्यूमेंट में इन्होंने मेंशन किया है कि आई एम गोइंग टू यूटिलाइज योर आईपी एड्रेस to provide my physical devices that I implemented for your VNet. जो हम VNet बनाते हैं बैकएंड में कहीं ना कहीं रूटर फायरवॉल स्विचेस इन्होंने भी लगा रखे हैं. सो जो VNet हम क्रिएट करते हैं अपना पर्सनल उसमें से 4 आईपी एड्रेस ये बैकएंड में रिजर्व कर लेते हैं. क्यों? उन डिवाइसेस को आईपी एड्रेस हम आपके ही रेंज में से असाइन करेंगे ताकि आपके इन्वायरमेंट की सिक्योरिटी को इनहेंस कर सके, प्रोवाइड कर बढ़ा सके। क्लियर?
Clear.
Yeah.
Next, we need ready है अपना, we just need to proceed for the another important part, because our responsibility, the first and very important part for every AVD engineer, you must need to create your AVD setup on first attempt, जो कि possible नहीं होता है। इतनी सारी प्री रिक्विजिट्स है कि पहले अटेम्प्ट में हम अपना एवीडी सेटअप नहीं तैयार कर सकते हैं। इफ यू आर रियली एबल टू सेटअप योर एवीडी इन्वायरमेंट इन फर्स्ट अटेम्प्ट बिना किसी एरर के, इट मींस दैट आप 40% ट्रबल शूटिंग ऐसे ही कर लेंगे। You are able to resolve up to 40% issues related to the Azure Virtual Desktop. Because you need to follow lots of steps, you need to provide lots of prerequisite to set up our AVD host pool. लास्ट एवीडी होस्ट पूल के अंदर वर्चुअल मशीन रन करने तक यू हैव टू प्रोवाइड लॉट्स ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन, यू हैव टू प्रोवाइड लॉट्स ऑफ सेटिंग्स, देन आपका एवीडी होस्ट पूल वर्चुअल मशीन को क्रिएट करेगा। इज ऑल राइट?
Yeah.
Yeah.
नेक्स्ट, let me proceed for the another important part. We just created our virtual machine, right? We just created our virtual machine, sorry, the virtual network. And the second important part, we need to create our domain controller, not only the virtual machine. Yes, we are going to set up our domain controller. ऑन प्रोमाइसिस VDI और Azure VDI में थोड़ा सा गैप है। थिंक अबाउट इट। ऑन प्रोमाइसिस VDI के केस में you are going to set up your VDI with the help of Horizon. You are going to set up your VDI with the help of Windows Server 2012, 2016, 2019, या फिर आप Citrix की हेल्प से VDI सेटअप करते हैं। Is that correct? इन
Yes.
ऑल द
Yeah.
केसेस, इन ऑल द केसेस आप विंडोज के थ्रू वीडीआई सेटअप कर रहे हो, आप सिट्रिक्स के थ्रू वीडीआई सेटअप कर रहे हो, या फिर आप लाइक एज VMware Horizon के थ्रू वीडीआई सेटअप कर रहे हो, इन सभी केसेस में कॉमन क्या है? डोमेन कंट्रोलर। एंड अनफॉर्चुनेटली वी हैव ओनली सिंगल मेथड, एक ही तरीका है डोमेन को सेटअप करने का, टू सेटअप आवर VDI। बट Azure वर्चुअल डेस्कटॉप के ऊपर whenever we set up our VDI, ठीक है, whenever we establish our Azure virtual desktop over Azure portal, we have a three different method to establish our VDI. Clear?
Clear.
AD-PaaS, प्लेटफॉर्म एज ए सर्विसेज एक्टिव डायरेक्टरी एक अलग सर्विस होती है। ऑन प्रोमाइसिस AD में VPN इन्वॉल्व होता है, और Azure के ऊपर एक वर्चुअल मशीन बना करके उस पे AD हम कॉन्फ़िगर करते हैं, वो आपका ADDS कंसीडर कहलाता है।
Okay.
And what is the gap between AD-PaaS on-premise and last one?
The Active Directory with our Azure portal.
Yeah.
With Azure portal virtual machine. Okay, so let's try to understand about the concept. सबसे पहले हम यहाँ पे एक वर्चुअल मशीन सेटअप करेंगे, एंड दिस वर्चुअल मशीन विल बी एप्लीकेबल फॉर this virtual machine will applicable for like as a domain controller.
Okay.
Create new virtual machine, and I wanted to set up our VM based on what we can say that server 2016 or 2019. We'll proceed for 2019. The machine name is domain because we are going to install domain controller in this computer. Central US is our location. No infrastructure. I don't want to set up any infrastructure. Standard and operating system should be 2019. 2 core of processor, 4 gig of RAM. I think this is enough to manage our domain controller because we are not going to provide much load. Username web and provide your password. 3389 is applicable to access our virtual machines RDP. कहीं से भी RDP access करने के लिए हम इसका इस्तेमाल करेंगे.
Okay.
Next. Again, next. Over the network part, yes, I wanted to create my virtual machine in my own VNet that we just created with name of AVD. Next, review and create.
So we created a domain, and what's the name of domain?
No, we just created a virtual machine. We'll install the domain controller by installing the role.
On the same virtual machine.
हाँ,
Yes.
इसी VM में हम domain install करेंगे ना. We just set up a virtual machine and after that, once our virtual machine is ready to use, we'll proceed to install the ADDS.
Okay.
So Manjit, when we've been creating in a VM, right? So what are the this location files will be created here? So if you see here in your screen, so there are the some types, right? Virtual machines and some files have been written. Can you just let me know what are those?
The point that you
Yeah.
are saying,
Yes.
like,
Yes.
see, actually, if we talk about the assembling of computer, right?
Hmm.
Like you are going to assemble the desktop. So what are the component required? You need to buy motherboard, processor, RAM, like NIC card,
Yeah.
monitor, keyboard, mouse, right? All the devices you need, all the components you need to connect to each other, and then it become computer.
Computer. Yes.
As it is over Azure portal, they are going to create these resources separately,
Okay.
right? Like as a NIC card.
Egg card.
Whenever we proceed to create virtual machine, your hard disk will prepared by the storage team. Your NIC card will prepared by the
Yep.
network team,
Network. Yeah.
like that. Operating system image we are getting from different location. Hardware, RAM, processor we are getting from the different location.
Okay,
Okay.
see, like when VM creates like NVRAM and VDisk, all is it? For the same thing for Azure, do we have anything like that? The components, I'm just checking.
Actually,
No, right?
they establish a
No.
high configuration based machine in the backend,
Okay.
like as ESXi host. Let's take an example. ESXi host of
Yeah.
VMware, right? Over a ESXi, we are able to create a number of virtual machines. But whenever we
Yes.
create our virtual machine with the help of ESXi, your virtual machine will take the space or hardware from the ESXi.
ESX, yes.
As it is over a portal, whenever we create our virtual machine, they establish a high configuration based machine in the backend. And we are taking some small part of our
Part.
backend system or backend host.
Okay.
Clear?
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Our VM, not VM. This is our domain. Ready to use. I'm just going to connect it. Download RDP. Server 2019, and this machine will be applicable. This machine will use to set up our uh,
Okay.
ADDS service. We'll install the ADDS service in this particular machine. Okay, so we connected with our virtual machine, and now we need to install ADDS service. How to install ADDS?
Add role and feature.
Okay, great. How many roles and features are available in Server 2019? 17 role, 52 features are available in our Server 2019. Anyway, click add role and features. Next, next, next. And this is the panel where we can find the
Mm.
roles, ADDS. Second one, add features, selected supported features. Click next and install. The first step, install the role, and after that we'll proceed for the promote the role. It is in progress. We should wait for a few more minutes. Done. First step, install role, and second step required to promote the role, right?
Yeah.
This is the panel where we can decide, where we can create our domain controller name. So yes, I wanted to set up a new forest because this is the parent domain controller, our primary domain controller. So you always proceed with this particular option. But one more important part we need to know about, like द नेम ऑफ डोमेन कंट्रोलर, हम ये कैसे डिसाइड करेंगे कि कौन सा डोमेन हमें यहाँ पे रखना है. सो फॉर दिस पर्टिकुलर टास्क सबसे पहले आपको एक पब्लिक डोमेन यू मस्ट नीड टू ऐड विद आवर माइक्रोसॉफ्ट इंट्रा एडमिन सेंटर. जस्ट गिव मी अ मिनट. हेलो.
Yeah, Manju.
Hello.
Okay, so the domain controller name that you are going to decide, make sure the same domain controller you have already purchased from the domain providers. So I have already purchased multiple domain. Go to the custom domain and we are able to find one domain with name of teachmecloud.in. So this is the domain that I purchased from the GoDaddy, and I'm going to set up our domain controller with the same name, right? And we'll use the same domain to set up our AVD environment. Teachmecloud.in. Is that okay? Why I'm going to use the same domain name? Because we are going to configure AD Connect. And in case of AD Connect, whenever we set synchronize the users from on-premises AD, means from this AD to Azure AD, your username associated with the same domain. Next, and final install it. We'll check the prerequisite and we can proceed for the installation. It is in progress and it will take hardly 2 more minutes. So this is the part of AD installation. Once our AD is means installed successfully, our responsibility to we need to proceed for the next step. So please go through the points that we discussed in today's session and let me know if you have any doubt or question related to the points that we discussed so far.
Okay.
Is all right?
Yeah, fine
Yeah.
as of now.
Great. So this is the first session. I'll send you the recording in next 1 hour because I need to convert it and upload on Google Drive. So then we'll share with you. And we'll connect tomorrow on same time, 12 p.m. IST, and discuss more about the AVD.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you,
yeah.
everyone. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah.